Your favorite Sunday morning TV show. We call this Sunday Breakfast right here on ChannelOne TV. My name is Jude Duncan. You can find me across all social media platforms using the handle at Mensa Duncan.
And I am Eno Safwan. You can find me across all social media handles with the name at Eno_S. Also, do remember that this show is live and interactive, and so you can send us a message, a birthday wish, whatever it is that you need, and we will we'll read it right here on the show for you. 0204 447 033. 0204 447 033. Alternatively, you can go on our social media platforms, ChannelOne TV, and send us a message there using the hashtag Sunday Breakfast.
On the show today, we have a lineup of exciting activities coming your way, right from our news review segment to our health, nutrition, community development, and sports. It's a fully packed show just for your Sunday, you could say relaxation, and also some information and, of course, education along the line. You definitely don't want to miss out on this.
Remember, we're still 7 years. ChannelOne TV is still 7 years, and we're celebrating it in grand style here.
Absolutely.
And with you, and thank you for sticking with us for these 7 years. We've been transforming lives, we've been impacting society, and we're thankful that you are with us.
It's a month-long celebration, right?
Of course,
so
it's a month-long. So yeah, the whole June. Like how I celebrated my birthday the whole May. So the whole June, we're celebrating ChannelOne TV at 7 years, and we're raising our glasses to more impactful programming, more impactful CSR initiatives. And I know that you'll be with us throughout this this journey.
Absolutely.
Really, yeah. So that when we're 100 years, we'll come back to the station and be like, yeah, we were part of the pioneers.
It's interesting because talking about 7 years, the quality and the impact hasn't really changed, right? So it's only getting better. And with that said, I think it's a good time to remind our lovely viewers out there of the AgriFair that's happening on the 20th to the 22nd of June later this month.
Yeah.
The AgriFair is basically an agric fair, aimed at supporting local farmers, helping homes also take advantage of very low prices, and of course exposing to the Ghanaian what the Ghanaian is capable of, right, in terms of agribusiness, in terms of the agri sector. And of course, it's happening at the Far Sutherland Children's Park, right, opposite the National Theatre. It's free. All you need to do is just have some, stash of cash, to come buy all of those, food items you've been wanting to buy, but for some reason you think the prices are, inflated and all of that, right from the farm gate to the table. If you need any assistance, 0205 973 973 for all enquiries, and the team is on standby to provide you with all the necessary help you need to ensure that this, is the right fair for you. So jump on board, let's make it happen. Make it happen, yeah. Of course, we couldn't do this alone, right? So it's been proudly sponsored by Exim Bank, the Development Bank, Ghana, Agri Impact, and of course, Legacy Crop. Shout outs to the team behind all of this as well for, working hard to ensure that this is a huge success. Of course, if you are interested or you need to make an inquiry, you can call 0205 973 973.
And a shout out to our technology partner, Farmer Line, as well. We're grateful that they came on board to sponsor this event. So like Jude said, it's free, just come with a pocket full of cash. And also remember that there'll be some AgriFair clinics for people who are interested in scaling up their farms. If you're interested in starting a backyard farm, whatever it may be, there will be a business clinic suited for you. And if nothing at all, you can pass by and come and chew chin-chinga. And ChannelOne and Citi FM always bring the vibe, so there'll definitely be lots of entertainment. Those 3 days, you do not want to miss out. Right, let's start. Oh, the Citi Business Festival is also happening this June. It's from the 1st to the 30th of June. This month has been christened the Business Festival month. So Absa Bank, MTN, Zonda Tech Ghana Limited, we're grateful to them for coming on board. Absa has been with us throughout I think, the beginning of the Citi Business Festival, and we're grateful to them. So the on-air series will be tomorrow, 9:30 on 97.3 Citi FM, and 10 a.m. on ChannelOne TV. Right. Let me get into the papers. It's
very important.
Well, not the papers, but the portals. So I have ChannelOneNews.com. The one is the digit one. Some of the stories you'll find on our portal. EC contract workers demand unpaid 2024 election allowances. Other stories you'll find: one Ghana City fuel levy subject to review. That's according to the Energy Ministry. Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association reject Health Minister's call for engagement. Tema Central MP appeals to striking nurses to resume work. Tell your cousin Ofuriatta to subject himself to OSP. Edem Agbana tells Kufu Ado. Trending stories: the chat, no certificates can guarantee you a good acting career. That's according to Jeffrey Norte. In the Northeast region, UN government launched peace-building project to improve service delivery. And then food vendors urge government to boost public education on planned takeaway pack ban. In the Western North region in Awin, MCE assures swift action on dangerous Iwabra Bridge. And David Beckham to be made knight in King Charles's birthday list. Other stories you'll find: Ataisa defends government's fuel levy hike. June 3 disaster, Ladi Anyanini criticizes state's failure to implement recommendations. In the Ashanti region, Kwabri East MP blames road project delays on financial constraints. Real estate is a long-term game, Merson Capital MD advises investors.
Interesting. And let me take you to the citinewsroom.com. Big story here: construction begins on phase 2 of the Blekusu Sea Defense Project, and this was a really, really major, project. If you quite recall, not long ago, the president, not too long after his inauguration, had cause to, go visit the after some really devastating tidal waves, in the Ketu area. Thousands attend burial sites for late Asante Mampong. And 1 City 4 levy is an 8% ripoff. That's coming from the Tema Central MP. Mahama Ablakwa, accused of double standards over Western Sahara strike, our only weapon to make government listen to us. And that is the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association. Tema Central MP urges government to meet striking nurses halfway. 4 levy, no proper consultation took place. Collins Adomako, who is Member of Parliament for Ifija Kwabre North, slams government. Minority accused government of neglecting local contractors warns of rising unemployment. Radio Univers, resilient and still setting standard. That's coming from the General Manager of Citi FM and ChannelOne TV, Bernard Avle, who himself is a proud alumnus of the only credible and relevant, campus radio station, Radio Univers, in the University of Ghana. Ghanaians will be angry if 4 levy fails to deliver results. That's from Professor Isumin, who is an economist and a professor of finance at the University of Ghana Business School. Galamsey fights 3 Chinese illegal miners arrested at Chifu Dinyase. And some other news in the Savannah region. Savannah region gets a new DVLA office. Also, building contractor pensioner remanded for vandalizing private property at Kwabenya. Omanibo Ama rehabilitates roads at Pope John SHS. Charlie. No, power sweet too. The defense minister is rehabilitating roads. Interesting. And these are some of the big stories on the citinewsroom.com.
Okay, let me take you to graphic, graphic.com.gh. Some of the stories you'll find there. Tree for Life initiative takes off. Oh boy, these ads. There's an ad. Okay, Tree for Life initiative takes off. Hajj cost relief on the way. President assures of drop in fares. Government committed to welfare of Muslim community. High Court restrains GRNMA from continuing with strike for 10 days. Pozzolana cement finally. There's a big question mark on the finally. President Mahama pledges substantial cuts in Hajj fares if city stability holds. Ukraine and Ghana to deepen cooperation in cybersecurity and digital innovation. Chief Imam urges moral renewal and end to Gaza atrocities in Eid al-Adha message. Ghana bans importation of excavators in bid to curb illegal mining. Trump and Musk trade insults as row erupts in public view. Tamale Savlugu Walewale Road minister accuses Indian contractor of taking $29.6 million and abandoning project. Ken Oforiatta appears on Interpol red notice as a wanted man for using public office for profit. Mike Egan, legendary broadcaster, dies aged 89. Chamber of Telecommunications announces exit of Kenashigbe as CEO. Bank of Ghana records 9.49 billion Ghana cedis operating loss in 2024, despite equity improvement. In Asin Ekropon, grave looters exhume body of 15-year-old 5 days after burial to remove organs. And wooden furniture to be banned in schools, as according to President Mahama. Ghana to outlaw styrofoam food containers in environmental push. Wrongful conviction, Atai's mechanic freed after serving 23 years behind bars. And in Blekusu, police arrest woman for pouring acid on ex-lover. The One Ghana City Energy Sector Levy, a necessary intervention for Ghana's energy future. Any other portals open?
I want to take you to the news center, the newscenter.com. Now, this website is being run by a very good friend, Elvis Darko. He's on Breakfast Daily on weekdays, every Monday and Wednesday. Big story here, 10 most secure prisons in Africa where escape is impossible. They have a really interesting editorial on that matter. On Galamsey, no permit, no excavator. Policy starts in order to fight Galamsey. Also, 3 Chinese Galamseyers arrested at Trifo Denyase. President Mahama pledges to slash Hajj cost next year. Some other political news. NIB invite, being called to account is not guilt. That's coming from the former running mate to Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, Matthew Opoku Prempe, 30-year-old woman arrested for pouring acid on former boyfriend. You can watch your fellow human being's face and pour acid on him. Charlie. NACOG arrest suspected drug kingpin. That's stories also on the news center. And also, they have an interesting article on the best tourist sites to visit in Ghana. All right. You have any other ones, or I should go ahead with?
I have the GNA. Let me quickly go through the GNA, and then we can pick some of the stories to read. Oh, my internet is giving.
Have you brought us Ghana Weekend?
No, I haven't. We normally do Ghana Weekend Saturdays, but if there are any new stories there, you can definitely bring them to us. But let me do the GNA quickly.
Okay.
Akufo-Addo urges unity in National Thanksgiving observance. Ghana requires bold actions to revitalize anti-corruption architecture. That's according to our Vice President, GNA. Ghana, Morocco sign landmark visa waiver agreement to boost trade tourism. Ghana requires bold actions to revitalize anti-corruption architecture. Opoku Prempe urges politicians, public office holders to embrace accountability. Mahama receives final reports of National Education Forum. Ghana must push innovation beyond academia, researchers told. And the editor's pick, Ghana advances sustainable e-waste practices. UG Public Affairs Directorate calls on GNA News editor to deepen ties. And Ghana and Malawi strengthen biodiversity data management. Mahama urges Zongo youth to take advantage of government's new initiatives. Bank of Ghana to regulate digital lending with new guidelines. Yes, you can bring us that portal now.
Now Koyo is in the news, and she says that she'd rather choose Speaker Bagbin for a dinner date. Jackie also has been named in Forbes Africa 30 under 30 class of 2025. Maoli Gavon named ambassador for Global Entrepreneurship Festival 2025, and these stories are on GhanaWeekend.com. And Sir Rod Stewart cancels more U.S. tour date amid recovery from flu. I saw that story on the social media, and I mean, the fans were really quite disappointed. But I know, can I go ahead and bring some international headlines?
Go ahead.
Very briefly, Trump deploys National Guard to LA after clashes over immigration raid. And this is a live, developing story, and the BBC is reporting it. Also here, Colombia presidential hopeful shot in the head at a rally. I don't know if you've seen the video, but it was gory. It was just heartbreaking, right? An opposition senator in Colombia who was shot in the head, and that particular incident was recorded live on camera. Really, really, really tragic stuff. The Trump-Max row is still, ongoing, albeit subtly, as the row now fuels the biggest crisis ever at NASA. The BBC describes it as the biggest crisis ever at NASA. 6 killed by Israeli gunfire near Gaza aid site. Hamas officials say Italian citizenship referendum polarizes the country. And finally, I burst into tears how an airline carry-on confusion triggered a legal row. So these are some of the big headline stories on the BBC.
Okay, so I've opened One Ghana City fuel levy subject to review. Energy Ministry says so. That's on ChannelOneNews.com. The one is the digit one. A bit of the story, and he was on the big issue yesterday. A bit of the story reads, spokesperson for the Ministry of Energy and Green Transition, Richmond Roxon, has hinted that the newly introduced One Ghana City fuel levy could be reviewed and potentially abolished within the next 12 to 18 months, depending on ongoing assessments and progress. This comes amid mounting public criticism over the Energy Sector Levy Bill 2025, which authorizes an increase in the levy on petroleum products. The move has triggered widespread backlash, with many expressing concern over its potential impact on the cost of living. Speaking on Channel One TV's The Big Issue, he underscored that Roxon highlighted that the ministry is actively working on a comprehensive plan to resolve long-standing challenges within the energy sector. He maintains that all aspects of the sector's bottlenecks are being tackled concurrently. There's a work plan that the ministry is working with. The issues are being tackled simultaneously. It is not that one point is being tackled and the others have been left. Every bottleneck that has been experienced. That is why the sunset clause was not included in the act, because if things go well within 12 months, within 16 or 18 months, depending on what the reviews are, we may end up go back to even abolish this One Ghana City levy that has been introduced. Maybe subsequently, as a ministry, we have to share the work plan for people to know what the ministry is doing. He emphasized the One Ghana City fuel levy, introduced under the Energy Sector Levy Amendment Bill 2025, is expected to generate 5.7 billion annually. The government has pledged that all revenue from the levy will be ring-fenced for critical energy-related expenditures, including debt repayment and fuel procurement, ensuring a stable power supply. Interesting.
Let me bring you the story of the construction, work that has begun on phase 2 of the Blekusu Sea Defense Project. And I'm sure this excites our brothers and sisters in the Volta region, right? So excerpts of the story by Letitia Osei
reads. I'm very excited mentioning Letitia's name.
Because she's definitely, an exciting character, and a really, really good friend of mine here at Channel One TV and Citi FM. Excerpt of the story reads, the government has awarded phase 2 of the Blekusu Sea Defense Project to Amandi Holdings Limited, bringing hope to residents of Agaveji, Salakope, and coastal communities, surrounding coastal communities battered by the destructive tidal waves. Volta Regional Minister James Gunu announced the development in a Facebook post, confirming that Amandi is already mobilizing equipment and setting up an operational base at Azizaji for the commencement of full-scale operation. I'm pleased to inform you that the phase 2 of the Blekusu Sea Defense Project has been officially awarded to Amandi, Mr. Gunu stated. He added that the company is currently mobilizing and setting up its operational base at Azizaji. To support affected residents, the Water Regional Coordinating Council, in collaboration with Exim Bank, has provided temporary shelters to facilitate relocation to safer areas. Mr. Gunu also reviewed plans for a permanent resettlement project to house those displaced by the tidal waves. James Gunu expressed gratitude to President John Dramani Mahama for his continued commitment to coastal protection, noting that the Blekusu Sea Defense Project was initiated during his administration. He also goes on, the story goes on to say the government also pledged continued food supplies and medical support throughout the construction period. Some really great news there. Beyond just awarding the contract, it's also important that government follows through, releases the requisite funds so that the timely completion of the project is met. Other than that, then it becomes a whole cycle again, and same old stories. The waves come again, people's properties are affected, lives are affected, and it becomes like a repetitive cycle. So shout outs to government, the minister for also pushing this. I remember him coming on the point of view of Bernard Avle, talking a lot about how he intends to deal very strongly with the issues around tidal waves in the region.
So I have GRNMA rejects health minister's call for engagement on ChannelOneNews.com. The Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association has dismissed calls by Health Minister Kwabena Mensah-Kando for striking nurses to return to the negotiation table. In an interview on Channel One Newsroom on Saturday, June 7, the association's public relations officer, Joseph Krampa, emphasized that the union is not interested in renegotiating already agreed terms. He stressed that the union spent several years negotiating the agreement and is only seeking its implementation, adding that if the finance minister signs the necessary documents, GRNMA is open to engagement on a clear roadmap for execution, but not to reopen talks. The GRNMA initiated the strike to demand the implementation of its 2024 collective agreement, which includes unpaid allowances and delayed postings. The industrial action has significantly impacted healthcare services nationwide. The agreement includes the provision of a 13th month salary, fuel and medical allowances, rural incentive allowance, renewal of practicing license, and uniforms for the striking health workers. Whew. The strike is biting hard on healthcare in the country, and
I know, to be fair,
I'm hoping that government at least just implements the agreed terms.
To be fair, right, I went to cover some of these hospitals on Friday. I saw nurses working, They're
not part of the Ghana registered. They are. I've forgotten the name that they are called. Is it the health services? I've forgotten the name that they're called, but they were brought in to augment the work at the hospitals.
The point is that I saw nurses working. I was told they are with the striking group by certain people, but they didn't want...
Were they at the OPD? Because I know that the OPD are not working at all.
Oh, I'm talking about wards. I remember them being in wards.
Okay, so then they haven't withdrawn those services
from
yet.
the wards?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Then they need to come out and explain.
From the OPD.
So my point really was that I saw them working. In fact, I spoke to some of them. I asked them, are you part of the people who are on strike? Yes. Can I talk to you? No, yes, obviously. No. And when they realize the cameras are coming, then they start to, So I'm like, I've seen a lot of people also go on social media to say or complain about the lack of good faith being shown on the part of the striking nurses, because according to them, their leadership announced the strike, didn't wait for any consultation whatsoever, and just left the country. They're unreachable and all of that. If that is the case, then clearly I don't think they are being fair to government, right? And why are you holding a government hostage based on the promises of a previous administration? If for nothing at all, come back to the negotiation table and let's all sit together and review the terms based on what this government's, strength is with regards to funding, sources for them and all of that. So if all of a sudden they are coming out to say that, oh, we agreed in 2024, when there was a different president, a different health minister, a different budget, I don't think it's fair to say that, by hook or crook, the government should implement something its predecessor said, when we know that the budget estimates are different. So I think that, Mr. Akando is trying. He has shown a lot of leadership by going out, pleading literally with the nurses to, rescind their decision. I hope that they go back to the drawing table. Of course, we need to. And you see, the nurses, it's a very some way subject to talk about because, government is on one bed saying we pay you training allowances, nurses training. We don't do that for any other, maybe aside teachers, right? So imagine every other professional coming out to say that government should,
them uniforms and
fuel subsidies and the truth of the matter is that we know that the political class, they enjoy these specs. Some of them even more than they deserve.
And that's why people are bashing them on social media over the 1 Ghana Citi.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. People know that government, if you're in a certain level in government, some of these things really, so, they should be able to do it. But the government really creates the fiscal space to do all of that in their budget. So I think we should be more accommodating. That being said, government also has a responsibility to ensure that our nurses, are properly well catered for. Some of the conditions under which they work, I think needs to be better, right? And you can say same for, almost all professionals. If you go to some of the barracks that some of the policemen sleep in today as we speak, you wonder where they get the motivation from to still continue in the service. So, Mr. Government, yes, we know that you have to do better, but to our striking nurses, I think we should place, we should still place the humanity, first, and, at least come back to the drawing table. Let's engage further. And, if government still is not committed to the cause, then you can now embark. But to just allegedly travel outside, be unreachable, I don't think it's the right approach. All right, maybe I should just bring this story because of my affinity or my closeness to it. And
I was waiting for you to mention that story.
And I'm referring to a story by Ifua Jubi Kenten on the outgone station manager for Radio Univers, Alhaji Siddiq Abubakar, who has bowed out graciously. And, such an amazing send-off for him. And this story is by Bernard, it's been attributed to Bernard Avile, who is saying that Radio Univers is still resilient and still setting the standard. General Manager of Citi FM and ChannelOne TV, Bernard Avile, has praised Radio Univers for its resilience and commitment to journalistic values, noting that even in an era dominated by social media, the campus-based station continues to produce media professionals driven by sacrifice, integrity, and a strong work ethic. He shared these thoughts during the retirement ceremony of Dr. Alhaji Siddiq Abubakar. And I want to just join myself to this particular message to say that we are grateful for your leadership over the years. We are grateful for taking us under your tutelage, right? And giving us all of that training all of these years has helped us. Your contribution towards developing the media as we've come to know it is undeniable. And, may Allah bless you as you enjoy this really, end retirement. Thank you so much for everything, and we are grateful for your leadership.
All right, so we're going for a break, but we have a musical performance by Stanley Nate when we return. Don't go anywhere.
So much love in the air.
What are we looking at?
Thank you guys for joining us on this unforgettable night.
Paw Patrol is on a roll.
It's Max Verstappen in the lead.
The megastar is here.
Absolutely sensational.
Let's go!
Just taking a trip down memory lane.
Get unbelievable entertainment that is unbelievably easy to own. Get and stay connected to DSTV.
Yo, Green, you know go job. You look unhappy and seem to be in pain.
I have this long-standing well at my anus and it keeps coming and going. I feel sick and so uncomfortable, bro.
Have you taken into consideration going to the hospital?
I've been to several hospitals and they keep telling me the same thing. They said it's anal fistula. I have to undergo a surgery. I'm scared I might not be able to hold my stool if I do this surgery.
Wait, have you considered seeing a proctologist?
Which one is that? What, do we have proctologists in Ghana here?
Bro, we have a lot of them. They are being trained every time.
Where can I?
Ale. An anal fistula is an abnormal tract which connects the inner part of the anus to the skin around the anus. As long as this tract persists, there will be a recurring boil around the anus. A proctologist is the one credited with excellent outcomes of surgery of anal fistula. Laser and ligature anal fistula surgeries are the modern methods with very low recurrent rates.
Visit Mwintaba Hospital and Coloproctology Center today or call us. Mwintaba Hospital, First Ghana Colorectal Center, in to serve a peculiar health need.
The Ghana Traditional Council, on behalf of the entire Ghana state, announces the annual ban on drumming and noise-making as part of the sacred rites leading to the Homo Festival.
Ghana mamu, Timfe anale, Akesin, Imlai Niko, Ogmadumo, Ongmehe, Wakusuni, Wakabachuni,
The ban across the Ghana state will take effect from Monday, May 12th to Thursday, June 12th, 2025. However, Osu, La, Teshi, Nungwa, Tema, Boom, Pram, and Ningo traditional areas will observe their bans separately, with dates to be announced by their various councils. During this period, all visitors are required to comply with the following regulations. Religious activities to be confined within premises without the use of external loudspeakers, no drumming, clapping, or use of musical instruments in public places, no roadside evangelism or street preaching with loudspeakers. There will be no funeral or burial ceremonies within this period up until the 20th of June 2025. This practice is not only a cultural tradition, but also protected under the 1992 Constitution of Ghana, ensuring the preservation of our customs and identity. A dedicated task force, in collaboration with the Regional Security Council, Metropolitan, Municipal and District Assemblies, as well as the Ghana Police Service, will strictly enforce compliance. We urge all residents, institutions and visitors to respect this sacred tradition as we uphold our cultural heritage and foster social harmony. Nyata, New Manyaba.
Brand new on DSTV. When a nominee to the Supreme Court dies, his family begins to suspect foul play.
Dad knew that he was in trouble.
Hollywood's darkest scandals are exposed in this gripping 6-part documentary series.
You have violence, fraud, homicide.
And a rich and powerful family is thrown into turmoil when a young woman claims to be the owner's illegitimate daughter.
You have another daughter.
Stay connected to everything new on your home of entertainment, DSTV.